The Galactic Tribunal's chamber loomed above Alex Carter like a celestial coliseum, its high, vaulted ceilings shimmering with holographic displays of star maps and ancient conquests. As the murmurs of the gathered aliens swelled, Alex felt the weight of countless gazes pressing down. "You think you can survive here?" sneered Zorath, the Tribunal's imposing prosecutor, his tentacles writhing in disdain. "No more than you can thrive without fear," Alex retorted, his heart pounding against his ribcage. The hum of anticipation in the air was palpable, electric. This trial was not merely a judgment of Alex's fate, but a test of humanity itself, a confrontation between a planet of chaos and a galaxy defined by order. The room was filled with a kaleidoscope of alien life, each species more bizarre than the last, yet they all shared a common belief: humans were a threat. Thorn, the neutral adjudicator, glanced between Alex and Zorath, his brow furrowed in thought. "Order in the court," he finally commanded, the echo reverberating off the chamber's cold walls. The murmurs quieted, but the tension remained thick, suffocating. Alex's mind raced. Earth had prepared him for this moment, not just for survival, but for fighting back. He recalled the days spent navigating the treacherous streets of his hometown, learning resilience amidst adversity. "I stand before you not as a monster, but as a testament to what humanity can endure," he began, his voice steadying. "Earth is a crucible, and I am forged from its fires." Zoratha's disdain deepened. "Your so-called resilience is nothing but barbarism. Earth is a death world, a cesspool of chaos." His words dripped with contempt, inciting murmurs of agreement from some members of the tribunal. "Perhaps," Alex countered, "but that chaos has bred innovation and strength. We've built a society that thrives on challenges." The flicker of determination ignited in his chest as he recalled the achievements of his species: technology born from necessity, communities forged from hardship. Lyra, an alien advocate with shimmering scales that shifted colors with her emotions, leaned forward, intrigued. "But what of the dangers you pose to others?" she challenged gently, her voice a melodic contrast to Zoratha's harshness. "We learn," Alex replied, locking eyes with her. "We adapt. It's in our nature to find solutions, to unite against threats, rather than yield to them." The sincerity in his voice caught her attention, and for a moment, the skeptical glances from the tribunal wavered. As Zorath prepared to retaliate, Thorn interjected, his voice low and contemplative. "We must consider the implications of condemning a species capable of such survival." The room fell silent as his words hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty. The prosecutor's rage boiled over. "This is not a matter of capability, but of intention. Their history is riddled with violence." Zorath slammed a tentacle onto the podium, causing a ripple of apprehension among the gathered aliens. "History is not destiny," Alex shot back, emboldened by Thorn's words. "We have the power to choose our path, to redefine ourselves." As the tribunal members shifted uneasily, the room buzzed with the anticipation of a storm brewing. Would they see humanity for its potential rather than its past? "Let us consider," Thorn suggested, "the opportunity for collaboration rather than annihilation." A flicker of hope sparked within Alex. Perhaps, against all odds, there was a chance to reshape the narrative. But as the gavel echoed, signaling the next phase of the trial, Alex's heart sank. Zoratha's eyes glinted with malice, and he knew the battle had only just begun. Would they dismiss the possibility of unity, or could a singular human voice inspire a galaxy? The stakes had never been higher. The tribunal chamber felt even more claustrophobic now, the weight of expectations hanging heavy in the air. Alex Carter stood resolute, but uncertainty gnawed at the edges of his determination. As the members debated his fate, the stakes escalated. Would they see his words as a plea for unity or a threat to their carefully structured order? Zorath, his voice dripping with disdain, was relentless. "You claim adaptability, yet your history is stained with conflict. Are you truly prepared to face the consequences of your actions?" His words cut through the murmurs, casting shadows over Alex's optimism. "Every species has its dark chapters," Alex replied, clenching his fists. What matters is how we choose to write the next one. If we're willing to learn from our past, we can forge a better future. Spare us your platitudes, Sora snapped, his tentacles twitching in agitation. The galaxy does not bend to hope alone. We must protect ourselves from the chaos you represent. The prosecutor's fierce demeanor stirred unease among the tribunal members. Lyra leaned forward, her scales flickering between shades of blue and green, curiosity mixed with doubt. But is fear truly the best way to guide our future? What if humanity can offer something beyond mere survival? Her voice, melodic yet firm, echoed through the chamber, capturing the attention of the other delegates. Alex seized the moment, his heart racing. Exactly! We can innovate and cooperate. Humanity has faced extinction multiple times and emerged stronger, not through isolation, but by banding together. The atmosphere crackled with tension as Thorn, the neutral adjudicator, raised a hand. Perhaps we should consider what Alex offers, an opportunity to engage rather than condemn. The potential for collaboration could reshape our understanding of humanity. Zoratha's eyes narrowed, but before he could retort, a soft voice chimed in from the far side of the chamber. And what does this cooperation entail? It was Mela, a young but wise member of the council from a species known for their empathy. What are you proposing, Alex? The question hung in the air, an opening Alex needed to exploit. We can create a council that fosters collaboration between our worlds. Share knowledge, technology, and resources. Instead of seeing humanity as a threat, recognize us as partners. Let us prove our worth. A murmur of intrigue spread through the chamber, but Zoratha's face contorted with rage. You think mere words can absolve your species of its sins? This isn't a negotiation, it's a trial. His voice echoed, demanding attention. Yes, it is, Alex shot back, emboldened. But a trial should be about justice, not prejudice. Show me the evidence of our transgressions. I can show you the strength of our resolve. The room erupted in chaotic chatter, each delegate weighing the implications of Alex's words. Zorath slammed his tentacle on the podium again, demanding silence. You are risking the safety of the galaxy with your naivety. Or perhaps you're risking its potential by clinging to outdated beliefs. Alex countered, his voice steady. Change is the only constant in the universe. You can't stem the tide of evolution with fear. As the discussion swirled around him, Alex felt a flicker of hope igniting within. Maybe they could turn the tide of opinion, if only he could plant the seeds of doubt in their minds. Just then, a low rumble echoed through the chamber, vibrating beneath their feet. The lights flickered, and whispers of panic spread as the walls seemed to pulse with energy. Is that? Lyra's voice trailed off, her gaze darting toward the ceiling, where glowing symbols began to shift and swirl, an ancient script pulsating in rhythm with the tremors. It's the defense system! Zorath exclaimed, his tones suddenly frantic. We're under attack! A blast of energy erupted outside the tribunal, shaking the very foundations of their judgment. Alarms blared, filling the air with a cacophony of sirens. Delegates scrambled for safety, the order of the court dissolving into chaos. Stay calm! Thorn shouted, his voice barely cutting through the din. We must. But before he could finish, the chamber's doors exploded inward, revealing a horde of armed invaders, brutish, heavily armed beings from a death world. Alex! Lyra called, her eyes wide with fear. What do we do? In that moment, the gravity of the situation hit Alex like a tidal wave. This wasn't just a trial anymore. It was a fight for survival. Would humanity's tenacity be enough to withstand this new threat? With a surge of adrenaline, Alex knew one thing: they would have to unite, or perish. As chaos erupted around him, he stepped forward, determination igniting in his chest. We'll show them what humanity is made of! The battle for not just his life, but the very fate of the galaxy was just beginning. A call to arms. Chaos erupted in the tribunal chamber, as the invading force flooded through the broken doors. Gunfire echoed like thunder, sending the delegates scrambling for cover. Alex Carter stood firm, adrenaline coursing through his veins. This was no longer a trial, It had morphed into a battleground. The stakes had risen dramatically, and now it was a fight for survival. "Get down!" Alex shouted, instinctively moving toward Lyra, who was crouched behind a marble column. Her eyes, wide with shock, met his as he took cover beside her. "We need to regroup." Zorith, who had been vocally opposed to Alex moments before, now shouted commands in a desperate attempt to organize the scattered delegates. "To the exits! We can't let them breach the inner sanctum." His voice, once filled with derision, now radiated urgency. Alex took a quick inventory of the room. Several delegates had fled, but a few, including Thorn and Mela, remained. They exchanged glances, silently acknowledging their shared resolve. "We have to fight back," Mela said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "If we don't, we're all dead." "We need a plan," Alex replied, glancing at the weapons hanging on the walls, ancient ceremonial arms that had never been intended for battle. "We can't rely on those." He spotted a panel with emergency communication systems. "I'll distract them, you two get to that panel. If we can alert the fleet, we might stand a chance." "Are you insane?" Lyra's eyes widened. "You'll be putting yourself at risk." "I can't let you do this alone," Alex insisted, his jaws set. "If we don't act now, we'll be overrun." The determination in his voice left no room for argument. With a nod, Mela and Thorn dashed toward the control panel, ducking behind furniture for cover. The roar of gunfire intensified, punctuated by the shouts of invaders. "Now!" Alex shouted, springing into action. He burst from behind the column, sprinting toward a cluster of enemies. He could feel the pulse of the moment, the urgency feeding his movements. His instincts kicked in as he dodged incoming fire, weaving through the chaos like a dancer. As he neared the intruders, Alex spotted one of the attackers, a hulking figure clad in dark armor, barking orders to his comrades. With a burst of speed, Alex tackled him, sending them both crashing to the ground. The impact jolted him, but he quickly recovered, wrestling for the invader's weapon. "Hold him!" he yelled, grappling with the brute. The invader was strong, his muscles taut, but Alex used every ounce of training he had to gain the upper hand. The weapon slid from the intruder's grip, clattering to the floor. "Hey! Over here!" Alex shouted to attract attention. At that moment, Lyra and Mela reached the control panel. Mela's fingers danced over the interface, desperately trying to establish a connection with the fleet. "I need more time!" she shouted, frustration lacing her voice. "Do it faster!" Alex barked as he landed a punch against the invader's face, blood spattering against the polished floor. Zorith, despite his earlier antagonism, joined the fray, unleashing a volley of energy blasts from a sidearm. His shots found their mark, striking down two attackers who had approached Alex. "Focus, human!" he commanded. "We need to eliminate them before they surround us." "Thanks for the help, Zorith," Alex grunted, finally managing to overpower his opponent and wrest the weapon away. He aimed it at the next wave of invaders. "Let's turn the tide." With newfound resolve, Alex began firing, his instincts sharper than ever. The sound of gunfire melded with the frantic cries of the wounded, the air thick with smoke and fear. He caught glimpses of Lyra, her scales glimmering as she darted between enemies, displaying surprising agility and precision. She was not just a diplomat, she was a warrior at heart. "Come on, Mela! We need that signal!" Alex called out, desperation creeping into his voice. "Almost there," Mela replied, her brows furrowed in concentration. "Just a few more seconds." Suddenly, a blast exploded near Alex, throwing him backward against the wall. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he pushed it aside. Breathing heavily, he rose, scanning for Lyra. "Alex!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Watch out!" He turned just in time to see a large figure charging toward him. Reacting on instinct, he raised his weapon and fired. The shot struck true, the invader collapsing to the ground. "Nice shot!" Zorith shouted, his tone now filled with respect. "Thanks! Just keep moving!" Alex replied, searching for another target. Finally, Mela's voice broke through the din. I've sent the alert! The fleet is responding! Cheers erupted from the remaining delegates, but there was little time for celebration. The invaders, sensing the shift, began to regroup, their resolve hardening. Prepare for a counterattack! One of their leaders bellowed, rallying his troops. Alex glanced at Lyra, who was crouched low, her breath coming in quick bursts. What now? She asked, fear evident in her eyes. We hold the line until the fleet arrives, Alex declared, determination etched on his face. We're not backing down. Not now. With renewed vigor, they prepared to face the oncoming wave, hearts pounding as the invaders surged forward. This was a fight for their very existence, and Alex was ready to show the galaxy just what humanity could achieve in the face of overwhelming odds. The battle had only just begun. The air crackled with tension as the final waves of invaders surged into the tribunal chamber. The once resplendent room now lay in disarray, littered with debris and the echoes of conflict. Alex Carter steadied his breath, adrenaline coursing through him like a wildfire. They were outnumbered, but he could feel the energy of his allies surging alongside him. On my count! Alex shouted, rallying the remaining delegates behind makeshift barricades. Lyra, her scales glistening under the flickering lights, nodded sharply, her fierce expression reflecting the determination that had grown since the battle began. Mela and Zora stood ready, weapons drawn, their eyes locked on the approaching enemy. 3, 2, 1! Alex yelled, and they unleashed a torrent of firepower. Energy blasts illuminated the dim chamber, the light mingling with the acrid smoke that hung thick in the air. Each shot landed with purpose, felling invaders and driving back those who dared to advance. Keep it steady! Don't let them flank us! Mela shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. She transformed from a diplomat into a strategist, her calm demeanor amidst the chaos instilling courage in others. Right, Zorath replied, adjusting his aim to intercept an advancing attacker. Humans are more formidable than they appear. Alex couldn't help but smirk at the comment. Glad you've noticed. He ducked just in time to avoid a retaliatory blast, the air whooshing past his ear. They had no time for banter. Survival depended on their unity. As the last of the attackers fell, a heavy silence enveloped the chamber, interrupted only by the heavy breathing of the defenders. For a moment, it felt as if they had triumphed. But Alex's instinct warned him otherwise. Everyone, stay alert, he urged. This isn't over yet. Moments later, a booming voice resonated through the chamber, chilling the air. Fools! You think you can withstand the might of the Draxian armada? A towering figure stepped forward, clad in gleaming black armor. His crimson eyes burned with malevolence as he surveyed the defenders, a sinister grin spreading across his face. General Kaler, Zorath hissed, his voice laced with venom. I should have known you'd be leading this pathetic assault. Ah, the traitor returns to face his judgment. Kaler sneered, brandishing a weapon that hummed with deadly energy. Your little alliance will crumble beneath the weight of my forces. Surrender now, and perhaps I'll spare your lives. Not a chance. Alex shot back, feeling the embers of defiance ignite within him. We won't bow to tyrants like you. With that, the tension snapped like a taut string, and the two forces collided once more. The clash of energy blasts and the roar of weapons filled the air, a symphony of chaos and determination. Alex moved with purpose, weaving through the fray, his instincts guiding him as he protected his allies. Lyra fought fiercely, her agility allowing her to evade strikes while landing precise blows against the invaders. We need to push him back, she called out, glancing at Alex. Can you create a distraction? Absolutely. Alex grinned, adrenaline fueling his resolve. He spotted an exposed panel in the chamber's wall, its circuits sparking dangerously. With a quick dash, he raced toward it, dodging energy blasts that scorched the ground around him. Cover me! He shouted over his shoulder, and Mela and Zorath responded with a barrage of fire. The room erupted in light and sound, a tempest of combat that obscured Alex's movements. Reaching the panel, Alex quickly assessed the situation. He ripped off the access cover and began manipulating the wires inside. Come on, he muttered, focusing his thoughts amid the chaos. His fingers danced over the circuits, short-circuiting several systems, sending a cascade of sparks and causing an explosion that rattled the walls. Now! Alex yelled, diving back toward his allies just as the explosion rocked the chamber. The shockwave knocked invaders off their feet, providing a crucial opening for the defenders. Go! Now's our chance! Zorith yelled, leading the charge as they pressed forward. Fueled by hope, they surged into the fray, pushing against the disoriented enemy. As they fought, Alex could feel the unity among his team solidifying. They were no longer just a group of disparate beings. They had become a cohesive force, united in their fight for survival. Each action they took fed off the strength of the others, their resolve intertwining like an unbreakable chain. Kaler, however, was relentless. He bellowed commands to rally his troops, his crimson eyes seething with rage. You think you can defy me? I will crush you all! Not if we have anything to say about it! Alex shouted back, charging forward with renewed vigor. He spotted Kaler, the source of their troubles, and determination ignited within him. Lyra! With me! Together they advanced, weaving through the remaining enemies with precision. As they drew closer to Kaler, Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He could see the general's arrogance faltering, his confidence waning as the tide began to turn. In a moment of fierce desperation, Kaler unleashed a wave of energy that ricocheted through the chamber. Alex and Lyra dove to avoid the blast, rolling to their feet with agility. The room shuddered, dust cascading from the ceiling, but they pressed on. Now! Alex shouted, and they launched their coordinated attack. Energy bursts filled the air as they struck Kaler with everything they had. The general faltered, his confidence shattered as he realized the depth of their unity. With a final push, Alex summoned every ounce of strength he had left. Together! He yelled, and with a united front, they unleashed a combined strike that overwhelmed Kaler, sending him crashing to the ground. As silence fell once more, the remaining invaders hesitated, their morale shaken. One by one, they began to retreat, the fear of defeat outweighing their desire for conquest. We did it! Mela exclaimed breathless, her eyes wide with disbelief. Alex turned to his allies, a sense of victory flooding through him. We fought as one. That's what made the difference. As the dust settled, he could see the hope returning to the faces around him. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious, not just as individuals, but as a united force. The galaxy would remember this day as the moment humanity and its allies stood against tyranny, a testament to their strength and resilience. But as Alex looked around, he knew this was just the beginning. The universe was vast, and they had forged an alliance that could change the course of history. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to protect their home and each other. With determination rekindled, Alex raised his weapon high. For Earth! For our alliance! The echoes of their triumph would resonate across the stars, a rallying cry for all who dared to stand against oppression.